Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. But before I go in the gossip, please smash that like button, and please, if you do, consider subscribe to the channel. As always, some interesting stuff has been coming out of the media to it today, as he updated you on one of my earlier videos, that potentially Manchester United are heavily linked with Koulibaly. It's also mentioned that Manchester United are linked with a Porto central defender as well, and we know Mourinho's looking to strengthen up defensively in January. And he's also in the market for the potential attacker as well, because he was frustrated, during the course last summer. And we know he's missed out on a lot of potential targets since he's come to the club. But potentially he's looking for a strong central defender, is Jose Mourinho as well. And potentially today in the press, reportedly Koulibaly, the currently centre-back, has reportedly been mentioned. Reportedly Manchester United have had discussions been mentioned. Reportedly Manchester United have had discussions with Napoli over the pursuit of the player Koulibaly, and reportedly Man United would have to pay in the region of over £90 million potentially to get the suit with the player. That's if Napoli are willing to do any business or that. I think they are still reluctant at this moment in time. Man United are keen on getting a move for him in January. He's potentially Jose Mourinho's main priority target. He's highly experienced in Italy, and I think he'd do well in the Premier League. I think he's strong, he's quick, he's good in the air. I think he's aged 26, 27 years old as well, and we do need a strong central defender, because obviously we've got Lindelof out, who I think has dramatically improved for us this season. We've had problems with Chris Small, Phil Jones, and all that. So we have, and Bailey hasn't been, featuring much in the team this season as well. So potentially we do need a strong centre back, because potentially how many goals we conceded this season. I think if Koulibaly was to come, and Man United were preparing to pay £90 million or over, which would potentially, a world record for the defender. I think he'd come to the Premier League. It'd be good to come in and see him experience the Premier League, and I think he'd adapt himself very, very well. I think he'd complement our team fantastically well in that central defensive position, and he is a very, very good player. What I've seen him, he's made 29 appearances for Senegal. He's been at Genk and Metz in the past, and he has been at Napoli since 2014. I think he's made about 174 appearances as Koulibaly, and for what I've seen of him, he looks a very, very good player indeed. He is under contract with Napoli to 2023. I think the player as well, he's been recently nominated African Footballer of the Year, as well as Koulibaly. But to me, he seems a very, very good, strong central defender, and potentially Manchester United have been in talks over getting the pursuit of the player. It was a couple of weeks ago Man United had put around a £77-80 million bidding, but reportedly the Napoli president and Napoli had turned this down instantly. Napoli only paid, was it £6-7 million for him from Genk, and he's a really, really good, outstanding player. What I've seen, his stats look very, very good. He's a strong central defender. He can play centre back, a left back, and a defensive midfielder as well. So potentially Manchester United have been in talks with Napoli over this as well. So probably Man United have to pay over 90 million pounds or over to get the pursuit with the player. And potentially there's an alternative if Man United do fail the pursuit of Koulibaly. Reportedly a Porto central defender has been mentioned as well. He's 20 years of age. He's very, very young. He's still in his prime. I don't know much about him. I find it really hard to pronounce his name. Reportedly, he's 20 years old. The player, I think, he's quite tall. The player has a 45, or is it a 50 million release clause? Reportedly, Man United are keen as an alternative. He's an alternative if we don't get Koulibaly. But I think his name's Eder Milito, something like that. He's a Porto central defender. He's under contract with them till 2022-2023. He has been in the senior squad quite a few years now, and he's been at Porto, is it just a year now? Obviously, his ex-club is so Palu, where he's up the youth system with them. But reportedly, Manchester United are interested in him as well. And Mourinho's got a lot of potential targets, for the January window. Reportedly, he's going to get £100 million spent in January. Potentially, would you trust Jose Mourinho this money? Because he potentially came out the other week and said Mourinho, he wasn't too convinced that we was going to get any Glasgow players or any top players in the January transfer window as well. And I think potentially, we could see players go as well. But I said regardless of who we're getting, I'm still not confident that Mourinho can push us along. I know he's got a good history, he's got a fantastic pedigree, and he's, won titles everywhere he's been, and he always seems to discuss about it a lot of what he's achieved and what he's won in the past. And we know he hasn't had the great relationships, with top players, since he's come to the club. But when he was Real Madrid, he didn't have good relationships, with some of their players as well. Did Jose Mourinho, as we all currently know, just need to find some. But we know there has been potential talks about him getting a sack at the end of the season. I think Mourinho will be here at the end of the season, even if we don't beat Liverpool next week, because Liverpool's going to be a very, very big game. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. As I said, I thought when Jose Mourinho, people have questions about his team, his tactics, and all that. Some people saying sack Mourinho, some people are still saying back Jose Mourinho, as you all currently know. And potentially, I thought the Fulham performance was very, very good yesterday. I hope Diego Doyle starts on Wednesday, because Doyle is 19. Mourinho praised him for his fantastic performance, that he delivered. He was good out of them wide positions, and I thought Doyle had a good game. So I hope he plays him Wednesday night. And I thought Rashford did fantastic, getting 2 assists and scoring. Ashley Young getting a goal and getting an assist as well. And Mata getting a goal and getting an assist and scoring his 50th Premier League goal in the English top flight and in the top flight, and providing his 50th assist as well. And that was a great performance. But we've got to keep these performances up to make us build and give us confidence and all that. But it was only Fulham. Fulham are rubbish. Don't forget, they did spend a lot of money in the transfer window. They spent £100 million. Quite a lot of teams during the last summer transfer window spent quite a bit of money, but Tottenham didn't get one signing. Did there, as we all know, and it's not long now till the January transfer window opens, as we're all aware of, and teams are looking to bolster their squads even more. But potentially, the board and the owners are obviously focusing on trying to recommend the right man for the job. Potentially, Mourinho hasn't met the expectations, because his expectation was to get us back competing, get us back challenging for major honours as well, which he's potentially failed to do as Jose Mourinho. But we've had an update potentially for Wednesday. Pogba's going to be potentially starting on Wednesday. I think Mourinho said he's going to show what he's made of on Wednesday against Valencia. I think he's confirmed that Andres Pereira is going to start as well with Jose Mourinho. But I think potentially you can't just blame Paul Pogba, why we've been poor this season, because Mourinho called him a virus and he's had a bad relationship with Pogba, and, we paid £89 million, called him a virus, said he lacks respect for the fans and the players, does Paul Pogba. You can't just blame it on Paul Pogba. There's players, especially this season, that have been potentially, underperforming, such as Matic. Matic has been underperforming this season very, very much. Mourinho's really reluctant to drop him, but he's been poor this season for us. Lukaku's been poor for us this season, because we know he's well known of scoring goals. He's a prolific goal scorer. He's Romelu Lukaku, but he was good in his first season, when he first came to the club. But potentially Lukaku hasn't been good at all this season, guys, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Potentially, I know he scored at the weekend. He scored at St Mary's, but he's found it hard to pick his form as a Romelu Lukaku, as we all know. So you can't just blame it all on Paul Pogba, with Mourinho's tactics and his team selection. So Mourinho has been mainly blaming Paul Pogba, for our bad performances, and, with us not getting the right results this season, as I currently said. But as I said, with Fred, he paid £52 million for Mourinho during the course of the summer. Fred is going to get more game time, according to Mourinho, when the team's strongly, when we strengthen up and look stronger in defence, and when the team is better balanced as well. And Mourinho would actually confirm this. But we know Mourinho spent over £400 million since he's been to this club, and potentially he's not convinced we'll get any top signs in January, but he has got a lot of potential targets on his current radar, and we desperately need some more signs, as I said. But in terms of Paul Pogba, he has still got huge talent. You can tell the difference in that midfield, when Paul Pogba's potentially not playing. It looks really static. It's hard to get balls through to the attacking positions, when obviously Paul Pogba's not there. And you can tell it's a different balance of play in the midfield when Pogba's obviously not featuring. Obviously we didn't have him at the weekend against Fulham, and people say, we don't need Pogba. We've proven we can play without him. But that was only against the bottom team club, so You know, all the games we're going to need Paul Pogba there because he's our most essential midfielder, but he hasn't really proven himself in English football. As I said, he had 4 or 5 good years with Juventus. There has been rumours of him potentially going back to Juventus. He admitted this quite a few weeks ago from the player's perspective. He could go back to Juventus as well, could Paul Pogba. But yeah, he's potentially, you know, he's still a very highly rated player, very creative player, adapts himself well. You know, he can play well when he wants to, Paul Pogba, but you know, he can play well when he wants to, Paul Pogba, but there has been rumours of him potentially leaving, as I said, but can Manchester United, you know, challenge for the title again, you know, potentially under Jose Mourinho? Do you have any confidence that we can challenge for the title under Jose Mourinho? We know we're sitting in 6th, with 16 points from top, with 8 points behind top 4, potentially. Mourinho said quite a few weeks ago we need top 4 by the end of the year, and potentially, you know, based on the performances this season, the lack of goals, conceding 2 goals, you know, it hasn't been good enough from Manchester United perspective. And you know, potentially we've got Liverpool next week. You know, we've got Cardiff, Bournemouth, and then is it Huddersfield? They're all games on paper that Manchester United should definitely win. As I currently said, but a lot of money's been put into his club. I think Mourinho's changed the whole identity since he's coming to the club, and potentially, you know, a lot of money's been spent. You know, £1 billion, you know, has been spent on this team. You know, since Alex Ferguson left. You know, we've seen players come in. You know, we've seen players leave, and potentially, do you have any confidence that Man United can challenge again? According to Mourinho, he said if City and Liverpool keep spending, it's going to be hard for us to challenge for the league. He said City are going to need sanctions, and potentially he doesn't know when Manchester United are next going to challenge him for the league. When, you know, when the style of play improves and when players start performing better, and when we get a couple of new names into the team, and we need a highly experienced defender, as I said, and Koulibaly would be a very beneficial indeed. And all the other players we've been linked to. So we need a potential, I think we need a potential world-class midfielder, to be quite honest with you, alongside Paul Pogba. You know, I love Vidal at the club. Vidal's a very good player. Very tenacious, very competitive. You know, who else in the midfield? You know, players like Kante, I'd love at Manchester United. Kante is a very good player. He's just recently signed a 5-year deal, hasn't he, with Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. You know, he's very good because he was good with, you know, he had 2 seasons with Chans and he went to Leicester City, something like that. And he was very good. I think he was only at Leicester 1 year and he won the Premier League with Leicester. He's also won PFA and Football of the Year. Now he's at Chelsea. Chelsea paid £32 million for him. He's been at Chelsea a couple of years now as Kante, and I think he's a very good player, very good box-to-box player, good in the air, quick. His defensive stability is very good indeed. He's Kante, so he's the type of player I'd like in our midfield alongside Pogba, because you can tell how badly affected our midfield is, you know, when Paul Pogba's not there, because Matic, he doesn't have any tempo to his play. He can't create, same as Marion Fellaini, can't create as well, because they're both tall, they're both static, as we all know. And yeah, so potentially I think, you know, Paul Pogba needs someone alongside him, you know, similar to his caliber as well, when he can play well. Paul Pogba as well, but as I said, you know, are we ever going to challenge for the league? And you know, we do not potentially know. Mourinho's won 3 trophies since he's come into the club. I did credit him for that. He got to the FA Cup final last season. We didn't win it because we didn't turn up. And this season's our worst season I've known Manchester United have for years and years. And this in all Mourinho's team, he's inheriting 2 of the players. Moyes got in, he's inheriting 6 of the players Van Gaal got in. Well, initially he got 12 in Van Gaal, but obviously 6 of them departed as well. But obviously, you can't compare Mourinho at this moment in time to the likes of Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, you know, Klopp at Liverpool, you know, at Arsenal. You can't, you know, compare Mourinho to, you know, that level as well. And we know potentially, you know, we could see players go because we've got a catalogue of players coming to the end of the deals as well. And potentially, it's going to be interesting to see how we line up on Wednesday against Valencia. We're into the knockout stages for February now, anywhere, as we all know. But yeah, we have had a lot of injury problems this season, to be quite fair. You know, went through the similar situation last season, you know, where we had, you know, quite a few injury problems as well. But we know there has been potential talks of Mourinho leaving at the end of the season. I think he will stay at least until the end of the season. I'd say top 4's gone now. From my perspective, it's definitely gone, because I can't see, you know, the teams that are above us, you know, dropping many points, because obviously Mourinho also admitted that teams above us, are improving as well. And potentially, there's been talks in the last couple of days about Pochettino coming in to manage Manchester United next season. There has been talks about that, but Pochettino has proven well in the Premier League. He's been in the Premier League 7 years, and as I said, potentially he's got a 5-year deal with Tottenham. He's aware of the speculations that's been going on. According to Pochettino, he's happy with Tottenham. He's looking on getting top 4 with Tottenham. And potentially he's only spent a net spend of £50 million since 2014 with Tottenham. This is like his 5th season now with Tottenham. Got 3rd and 2nd place in his first 2 seasons as well. And do you think he'd have the winning mentality and the stature to command Manchester United in that position? I know certainly Mourinho hasn't got it at Manchester United, especially, at this moment in time as well. But Pochettino, well proven in the Premier League, obviously managing Spain with Espanyol for a good 3-4 years or something like that as well, Pochettino. Also, he played 18 years in his playing career with Espanyol. He won 2 Copa del Rey, made over 300 appearances, and he also played he's played in Paris as well. He played with Bordeaux at one point. He played with Paris Saint-Germain as well. Did Pochettino? Reportedly did say it could cost the club up to 40 million to get Pochettino. But Pochettino, £40 million. He said it could cost us. He said if we don't get top 4 this season, it will cost the club less to sack Jose Mourinho. But potentially we may have a good second half this season. If we can build now. The last 2 performances have been good. We didn't win against Arsenal, but I thought we showed good character, and there was some intensity shown in that game. And the Fulham game, Mourinho praised Doyle, and I think he needs to be selected more often, does Doyle, because he's 19. He still needs to grow and develop. And, I think he can be a very, very important player in the next couple of years, when he grows up and gets older. I think he's, delivered the goods very, very well. And Mourinho had praised him, saying he's physically very strong, he's tactically very, very good, he's technically very, very good, sorry. And I thought he put a great performance in against Fulham on that right-hand side. But the players that have improved, that have been good in my opinion this season for Manchester United, potentially have been Lindelof. I think he's improved this season, Lindelof. Martial, without a doubt, has been our best outfield player this season. I hope he's still young, he still needs to grow and develop. And I think he's absolutely sensational, Martial. And I hope he signs a new deal with the club. And as I said, he's been our potential best player this season. But I think Matic has been poor this season. I think Herrera's done okay this season in the midfield. I think Mata's played well when he's played this season. I think Lukaku's been poor. Obviously, we know you're all aware of Alexis Sanchez. He's been very, very poor, Sanchez, since he's arrived to the club, because obviously he's been here since January, Sanchez. Sometimes it takes players time to fit in, the team and start getting on form. And I just don't think, Sanchez is very, very good at the moment. Obviously, he's injured till January, as Mourinho had confirmed as well. But he is a very, very, he was a very, very good player with Arsenal and Londonese and Barcelona. He's on £500,000 a week. He's Sanchez. He's obviously frustrated with Jose Mourinho as well. Is Alexis Sanchez. But there's still time for him to improve. There were talks that he was keen on the move to PSG. He told his friends he did actually want to leave Manchester United. Did Sanchez, but obviously there were no fee involved. We got it free. It was a swap deal, back in January. So he has been here nearly now 12 months as Sanchez, and he has failed to deliver the goods. But we need someone up front, alongside Lukaku, Martial, and Rashford, and that, a player that can complement, and a player that's got that finishing aspect, that finishing touch to get us more goals. And certainly Lukaku hasn't got it, because everyone talks about him being a big game bottler and all that. And his first touch, and we need a top-class striker, that can score at least 25-30 goals a season, who's got that good finishing asset, who's got a lot of good style about his play. That's the type of attacker we need, as he currently said. And there's a lot of strikers I do like out there, a lot of strikers I do like out there who I'd love to come to Manchester United. I'd love the Aubameyang, good in the air, got that good finishing assets, good at Dortmund, proved himself fantastically well since he's been at Arsenal Football Club. He's a potential striker I loved. I like Harry Kane as well. Between Aubameyang and Harry Kane, it's difficult. I think Aubameyang's slightly better than Harry Kane at the moment. I know Harry Kane won the Golden Boot twice in 2 seasons. Was it a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago, as I said. But yeah, it's just important to see who we get in the January transfer window. It's not long now until the January transfer window, of course. And I said Koulibaly, good strong central defender. As I said, and what I've heard about him, he's, you know, he, we need a highly experienced defender, and he's 26, 27 years old. I think he's quite tall as well. He's good on the ball. He's good in the air. He's very tenacity as well. He's very tenacious. He's proven himself very, very well with Napoli. He was at Genk and Metz in the past, and I think he'd adapt himself well if he was to come to the Premier League and give a name for himself in the Premier League, because obviously he's never ever played in the Premier League as Koulibaly. But what I've seen of him, very, very good player, but it could cost Man United a staggering £90 million to get the pursuit of the player, because Man United have been in potential discussions with Napoli over this as well. The most expensive defender at the moment is Liverpool's 75 million Virgil van Dijk, of course, as we all currently know. But as I said, going to Wednesday night, as I said, Mourinho has been linked to a move away. According to George Mendes, who currently doesn't really publicly speak about Mourinho. He doesn't really have a good relationship with Manchester United. He totally dispelled the myth about Jose Mourinho leaving. He said to him it's nonsense. He said he's happy at the club with him. Reportedly, he said Jose Mourinho is fully committed to the club in building a solid winning project. This is his perspective, George Mendes, regarding Mourinho's, and this is what he said. And he mentioned his long-term contract he's got at Manchester United, Jose Mourinho, of course. So he's totally dispelled the myth, and he says the club are happy with him. He's happy at the club, and this is what George Mendes said about Jose Mourinho. As I currently said, and it was a surprise statement that he made, the other night, George Mendes, because he hardly ever publicly speaks about Jose Mourinho. And potentially, yeah, talking about Pochettino, I think he's a very, very good manager. I think he'd do well if he came to Manchester United. In terms of silverware as a manager, never won out, but he's done very, very well with Tottenham. They didn't spend out during the course of the summer. He's only spent £50 million since he's been there. But potentially, I think he's admitted as Pochettino, he's fully committed to Tottenham. He feels happy with Tottenham, as I said. So potentially, if we do have a good second half to the season, we potentially now start getting wins behind us, the pressure will ease off Jose Mourinho, of course. But as I said, we've been linked with a hell of a lot of players as well. And as I said, we're linked with Toby Alderweireld, Harry Maguire, Jerome Boateng. These are the players that are Manchester United are linked with as well. And potentially other breaking news I want to update you on is regarding Mesut Ozil from Arsenal. Obviously, Umre, very, very good manager, very, very good pedigree, and Arsenal look a much better side, under Umre. I said they had 22 years with Arsene Wenger. They had 12 good years with Wenger. He won a lot of silverware. Broken records. Obviously went undefeated in 2004. When he had that fantastic Arsenal squad. And he did a good job for like 12 years, and especially in the last stages of his managerial career with Arsenal. Potentially a lot of Arsenal fans wanted him out, but now they've got someone else in. It's his first season with Arsenal. He got some players in during the course of the summer, and Arsenal look very, very good under Umre. I still think he needs a couple of transfer windows to bolster their squad even more if they are going to be potential title contenders. I've got players aging up, and obviously they've lost a lot of good players over the years as well. But reportedly, they're in good form. The 21 games unbeaten now in all competitions. Umre is showing that he's got that stature to command Arsenal in that position and elevate them to a higher level. And potentially, there's news going on regarding Mesut Ozil at Arsenal. The player that's been at Arsenal, I think, since 2013, so he has been at Arsenal now, is it like 6 years, something like that? Very, very good midfielder indeed. He's been linked with a move to Manchester United in the past as well. Remember that time he was under Arsene Wenger and it was looking like he wasn't going to sign a new deal under Arsene Wenger. But one point, Man United were linked to him because Mourinho obviously has a good relationship with him, and he were looking for a reunion with him. because Mourinho's obviously worked with him in the past when Ozil was at Real Madrid. But reportedly, Arsenal are willing to sell him in the January transfer window. Reportedly, are willing to get rid of him. Reportedly, it says Inter Milan are monitoring an interest in the player. Reportedly, Arsenal are looking to sanction him off for £25 million or something in the January transfer window. He's receiving around £350,000 a week or something like that. But reportedly, he has been very, very good for Arsenal. He's proven in the Premier League. Reportedly, this season, though, he hasn't found his good form, Ozil, this season, because potentially he's missed quite a few of Arsenal's recent games due to a back injury, and he potentially hasn't found great form this season for Arsenal. So, reportedly, Arsenal, Numéro looking to sanction him off for £25 million in January. So he has had a back injury or something like that, as Mesut Ozil as well. But potentially Inter Milan have Inter Milan are going to demand talks. I think reportedly Inter Milan are due to have discussions with Ozil's representatives about potentially Ozil making a move to Inter Milan. So I think this is due to happen this week. Inter Milan coach Ozil's representatives for Ozil to make a move to Inter Milan in the January transfer window. But obviously Arsenal are going to lose a couple of the other players. You know, Ramsey's obviously being told he's not going to be signing a new deal with Arsenal, so he will be leaving on the free next summer. So he'll be staying to the end of the season till his contract expires. Ramsey's been at the club over a decade. I do like Aaron Ramsey. You know, he's very, very good in his Cardiff days as well. And also to Danny Welbeck, who obviously they've had there since 2014. They paid £15 million for. They paid £15 million for Welbeck from us, didn't they, in 2014? Of course, ex-Man United player. Danny Welbeck's obviously out for this season. It's confirmed Danny Welbeck, I think, will be leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. And he won't be signing a new deal as well. So even though Arsenal aware players are leaving, they're still playing very, very well indeed. I know they only beat Huddersfield 1-0, but potentially they're showing great intensity this season. They're playing good football. They've got some good players in that team like Lacazette and Aubameyang. I think they're a fantastic partnership as well. So reportedly, but with Inter Milan, they're under financial fair play. But reportedly, as from my knowledge, they can't officially sign players till next summer because they're under financial fair play. I think they can initially, have talks and agree to buy players in January, but they can't officially get them until next summer. Inter Milan, of course, and obviously looking to sanction players of their own. Inter Milan to obviously invest money into the Serie A club as well. But obviously, we know a potential other Manchester United target has been Milan Skriniar. He's 23 years of age. He looks a very, very good young age prospect indeed. I think his performances for Inter Milan have been very, very good. I think if he came to the Premier League, he'd also adapt himself as well. Would Milan Skriniar. I think he's attracted interest in a few teams as Milan Skriniar, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, he's been in Milan since 2017. I think he's still got a 4-year contract left as Milan Skriniar or something like that. But he's been potentially into a move to United as well. Man United have been interested in him. He's rated at around 70 million. Is it 75 million pounds? He won the best Slovakian under 21 best player award. Inter Milan paid 20 million, and I think that's the most expensive Slovakian player of all time for the current player as well. And he's an ex-Sampdoria player as well, is this Milan Skriniar. So reportedly Man United have also been interested in him as well. And defensively, that's the key area that Mourinho needs to address and bolster up, of course, as well. But we know potentially the other week that I heard about Neymar. Potentially, I think this is false news and false information anyway about potentially Neymar coming to the Manchester United. But Manchester United and a few other teams have been linked with Neymar in the past. He's a very good, creative, very, very good mid forward indeed. Potentially one of the top players, in world football is Neymar. Established himself well. When he was at Barcelona for a good 4 years or so, he had a great relationship with Messi. He played well alongside Messi and Suarez, and he has proven to be a great, great goal scorer. His ability is good. His passing ability is good. His finishing is very, very good. He's a great, great fast player, and potentially I think it would be good to come and see him experience the Premier League, but he's very highly proven. I think, 26 years of age, and obviously he's now at Paris Saint-Germain. That's Paris Saint-Germain's most expensive player. well, he's the most expensive player in world football because I think Paris Saint-Germain paid was it 200 million euros or something like that for Neymar, and obviously, yeah, he's at Paris Saint-Germain. He's been there like a year now or so. Obviously, he's an ex-Santos player because he's risen up the youth system with Santos at Neymar, and potentially made his professional debut for them at the age of 17 at Neymar as well. And potentially, he did say though, Neymar, he hasn't ruled out a move of potentially making. He hasn't ruled out a move of making a move to the Premier League. So potentially, he said sometime in his future, while in his playing career, he will maybe want to consider playing in the Premier League because he's never played in the Premier League, but he's a very, very good player indeed, and he'd be the type of player I'd love alongside Pogba in our midfield, you know, without a shadow of a doubt as well. But talking about the Ozil, yeah, so reportedly want to sell him in the January window. He's obviously been a Man United target in the past. He obviously, you know, recently ranked for Schalke, you know, in his youth system, and then went to Werder Bremen, won honours there. You know, then went to Real Madrid, won honours there, and he established himself very, very well in Spain, you know, whilst he worked with Mourinho at Real Madrid. And now he's at Arsenal, and he's done pretty very, very well at Arsenal, you know, since he's been there. But he's failed to establish himself this season also because potentially he's been injured. He hasn't been in his best form, you know. As it Ozil, of course, so potentially Arsenal looking to cash in for the player. Of course, as I said, so reportedly Inter Milan are the team that are potentially interested in him as well. But yeah, Man United, you know, linked with a host of players for January. As I said, Mourinho's so far got 11 players in. He's obviously sanctioned 14 players off. I can still see players going, you know, it's a debate whether Paul Pogba's going to stay at the club or not, you know, with his disputes with Jose Mourinho. Darmian could go. As I said, there's a few Italian clubs interested in him. You know, the reports about Antonio Valencia leaving the club as well. You know, partly West Ham were keen on getting him on a free transfer next summer. So there were reports about that the other day, as I updated you on. Obviously, Valencia, you know, obviously suffered a mouth injury early on in the season and potentially has been at the club now. He's been at the club nearly a decade now as Valencia, and he has proven himself, you know, a crucial player, you know, of the years he's been here. But he's now aging up. He's 33. Man United are in talks of securing him a 1 year extension. As I said, Antonio Valencia. So yeah, so potentially Doyle will be our essential right back soon. You know, if he carries on, you know, with his fantastic performances he has put out recently as well. But it's important that we get a strong central defender, as we all know. Can we turn it around? Can Mourinho turn things around at the club? Because this is now his third season, as I said, and he hasn't met the expectations. And some of the things he said in his press conferences that it seemed like he's lowering the expectations of the club. And potentially, yeah. So we'll have to see who we can get in January. As I said, I don't think the majority of the players are playing for Mourinho anywhere, and we'll just, you know, have to see what happens. But what do you think to the Koulibaly news? Reportedly, I don't think Napoli are willing to do any business. They may not be willing to do any business in January, but they may consider it next summer if Man United are prepared to pay the £90 million that, you know, Napoli rate him at. And, you know, they would, in terms of financial situations, they would make a huge profit on the player because they only paid £7 million for him from Janka, did Napoli, as we all currently know. And as we all currently know. And potentially to give you a bit of you know, news that came out in the press the other day, you know, regarding Christian Pulisic. I like him as well. He's a good young age talent. You know, he's 20 years of age. He's been in the senior squad with Dortmund since 2016. He's young and a very good talented player, just like Rashford and Martial are young, and they're two good young talented players as well. But Christian Pulisic, as I said, it's been Chelsea that have been linked to him. Liverpool have been linked to him. It said the other week in the press that Man United were actually interested in Christian Pulisic, but he's very, very good. He's using up the youth system fantastically well as Christian Pulisic, and he's a very, very good player. He's Christian Pulisic because he's proven himself in Germany, you know, with Borussia Dortmund. His current contract ends in 2020 with Borussia Dortmund. Does a Christian Pulisic reportedly is rated at around £70 million. Borussia Dortmund and the director have confirmed they're not willing to do any business in January. Chelsea were keen on getting him in January. Liverpool were also interested in him because obviously Klopp spent a lot of money, you know, in 6 transfer windows. He spent about £400 million in 6 transfer windows, but obviously Chelsea identified him as a suitable replacement for Eden Hazard, of course. But Christian Pulisic can play as attacking mid, can play out wide. He is 20 years of age, and I think he'd adapt well in the Premier League with Christian Pulisic again, because he is known to be a good goal scorer as well. And Borussia Dortmund have been in talks of actually securing him a new deal, but said Man United entered the race. But obviously he's not a priority target for Jose Mourinho. But he said Man United entered the race for the player, and he's a good young player. Is Christian Pulisic? He is a good young player, and you know, Klopp's obviously worked for him in the past. Klopp, you know, may be keen on a reunion, you know, with Christian Pulisic. So it said, reportedly Liverpool were willing to invest some money to pay £70 million for Pulisic. Liverpool have been interested in Pulisic. Chelsea have been interested in him because obviously Chelsea potentially, you know, they've got Eden Hazard. Reportedly, admitted in the press the other week, could leave in the course of summer. Allegedly said in the press the other day, he'd agreed terms to join Real Madrid at Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard, close ball control, very, very good, tenacious, good in the air, very, very clinical, and scores loads and loads of goals, and he's a very, very good player indeed, and Chelsea know how much of an essential player he is for Chelsea. And I think he brings that attack. He's very dynamic. I think he brings that attack into Chelsea. He's got that finishing asset at Chelsea. That, you know, he scored a lot of goals for Chelsea since he's been at Chelsea since 2012, and he's got 18 months left on his contract. He did rule himself out on making a move to Paris Saint-Germain, Eden Hazard. But reportedly, Chelsea were willing to offer him a record deal to make him the highest paid player, you know, in Chelsea's club history. Reportedly, that's what it said in the press the other day. Potentially about Eden Hazard, but he admitted a few weeks ago he could potentially leave Chelsea during the course of the summer. So this is why Chelsea have identified Pulisic as a potential replacement if Eden Hazard does leave. But this could maybe, if Chelsea are willing to offer him a world record deal, make him the highest paid player in their club's history in this new deal, then that could persuade Eden Hazard to stay as well. But I thought it was good during, you know, his Lille days, you know, when he was at Lille, you know, he was up the ranks for them, he was in the youth academy for them for 2 years, and he made his professional debut at the age of 16, did Eden Hazard as well, and, you know, a very, very good player. Very, very good player indeed, and he's a potential player I'd love at Manchester United as well. With his creativeness, his stability is good, he's fast on the ball, his close ball control is very, very good, and he's got that finishing assets. And I think he complement Manchester United very, very well. And, you know, he did admit, Jose Mourinho, in, you know, quite a while back, he'd love Eden Hazard to come to Manchester United because we do need a world-class player in that team. And for me, Mourinho still doesn't know his potential best 11. That team we've got, he's a good team. I just don't think he needs gelling more. We have had injury problems this season, but we need to get a couple of signings in January, whether it'll be one signing we get or 2 signings we get. There's always next summer as well. But top 4, I think that's likely gone at this moment because I can't see teams above us dropping many points, you know. But obviously, all we've got to do is try and win games now. Try and have a good second half to the season at least, because the first half of this season has been absolutely dreadful. And we'll see what happens in the window as well. But potentially today, it's come out in the press. Man United linked with Koulibaly. We've been linked to him for quite a while now. £90 million it's going to take for Manchester United to have any chance of getting the pursuit of the player. But Mourinho's made it clear he wants a highly experienced defender. And I think he would deliver the goods to Manchester United defensively. Bailey, he may go. Rojo may go. I'm not too sure because Bailey struggles to get in the team this season. I know he played against Arsenal, put a good performance in. Same with Rojo as well. So potentially these players that could leave Manchester United, as I currently have said, and obviously Manchester City are not invincible anymore because obviously they've had the first defeat of the season. Chelsea beat them. You know, Chelsea will be delighted with that win. City will be disappointed now because Liverpool still remain top of the league. And Pep Guardiola is still a great manager that, you know, as I said, he's totally in a different league to Jose Mourinho at this moment in time. You know, he's emulated the football he did with Barca and Bayern Munich, and he's been in now to City. He's won 24 trophies in his career, broken records, got 100 points with City last season as well for Manchester City. And he spent a lot of money into that Manchester City team. They've got an absolutely world-class team that, gel together, play great football, score goals for fun, and defensively very, very good. But City will definitely bounce back from that Chelsea defeat. There's no two ways about it. And I think it's going to be either City or Liverpool that are going to win the league this season, because they're the two teams with the good players. They're looking very, very consistent. Both teams are scoring goals. Defensively, they're looking good as well. Chelsea, I don't think they'll win the league. They won't win the league, Chelsea. Doubt that's going to happen. Don't think Arsenal will. I think Arsenal will be happy with the top 4, top 3 this season. That will be their objective, because it's only remembrance for season, as I said, with Arsenal. Potentially, yeah, we shouldn't be in a position, that we're in. Now we shouldn't be in this position, because obviously, we've lost, with Alex Ferguson, that great success we had with them, great players, that we currently had, with Fergie, that fear factor was there, Compton was there, we knew how to win games, even though if it wasn't at potentially at his best, and potentially, with Fergie, we'd lose 4, 5, 6 games at most in one Premier League season, or 7 at the most, and already we've lost 4 this season, as I currently said, and the lowest we ever finished with Fergie was 3rd. That was where the lowest we ever finished, but the lowest we've ever finished overall was under David Moyes, and that was 7th. So potentially we're in a bad position at the moment. It was good to get the win against Fulham, as I said, but now we've got to build on, get this confidence going. Mourinho said Pogba will be starting Wednesday. He's got according to Mourinho, he's got to match the mentality of the team. He's got to match the mentality of his teammates. He's going to prove how good he is on Wednesday. According to what I saw, he's praised Pereira. He's going to play Pereira on Wednesday, according to what Jose Mourinho said. So we'll see what happens about that as well. But there's a lot of transfer news going on now. A lot until the transfer window opens. So it'll be interesting to see who Manchester United can get in at the January transfer window as well. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, like, follow on the channel. There'll be more live videos coming up very, very soon. Take care, God bless, guys, and I'll see you all again on my next video. Bye. And yes, before I go, the Valencia Manchester United preview will be coming up tomorrow evening sometime, I think. So we'll be giving you a build up to the game and all that, reading a few of the statistics out to you. So join me then, and I'll see you all later, guys. Bye.